Hello, beautiful people. My name is 𝐘𝐨𝐮𝐫 𝐕𝐨𝐢𝐜. So I want to invite you to be a part of my inner circle. All right. So I am a life and personal development coach. What I do is I help people build systems, and what I mean by building systems is something that looks like habits that can help you achieve your goals in 3 critical areas of your life. I'm very, very particular about health and wellness, relationship and family, and career and business. Look, I understand what it means to struggle in all these areas that I have just mentioned, and I am willing to show you how to navigate through tough times. I've been there, and I'm also certified to help you navigate through these trying times. Do not take my word for it. All you need to do is click the link that you can see below and be a part of my inner circle. See you.
One of the reasons why people find it difficult to practice mindful journaling or mindful reflection is just finding the time to grow into it, because it actually takes time to have it as part of your behavioral habits. And that is why if you are able to find a community to help you to build that over time, then it's a win-win for us. And that's why I've put together the 30 days mindful reflection journal challenge. This is to help you over a 30-day period, to help you really reflect, get to know yourself better, but do not have to do it alone, so that you have a community to support you on that journey. If this sounds like something that is of interest to you, I want you to click on the link in the comments or in my bio to join the wait list as we kick off on April 1st, 2024. This is the Energetic EJ.
All right. Welcome to this live session. So for some reason, our the what's it called now? The Instagram live isn't going through. I'm so sorry about that. So the people on Instagram wouldn't be able to see us. Oh, I'm so pained. I don't know what happened. It says I'm live, but it's not showing here, so I don't know that we're currently live on Instagram, so I'm unable to do that right now. I apologize for that. I think there is just this technical problem. I should have checked on it again before we came live. But anyway, so that's it. We won't be live on Instagram today. So we're just here on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Voice, Your Impact, where we share, topics around. Most times our guests talk about the things that they talk about in their brands, and that is a platform. This is a platform for you to share your voice, your message, because we believe that you have a voice and your voice is meant for impact. Okay, so let me know in the comment section where you're connecting from. If you can hear me, if you're on YouTube or on LinkedIn, let us know. I'll try to see if I can monitor out here on my phone on LinkedIn to see who is there, who is connecting, and who is talking to us, because for some reason we're unable to see the comments right here in the studio. The comments coming in from LinkedIn, only the ones from YouTube actually comes in. All right, so let us kick it off. So today we're talking about finding the balance between being and doing. And of course, we have a beautiful guest with us today. But before I bring up our guest, let me bring up my co-host. Grace, so amazing. I'm super duper proud of her. This last week was amazing. She's going to tell us all about it. And then we're going to bring our gorgeous guest on the show. Hello, Gracie Mama. What's up? What you doing? What's going on? How you doing, baby? How you doing, baby?
That's how I feel right now, babe. That's how I feel right now. And I don't know why the audio is not so sharp like it would normally be.
My audio is not so sharp.
Yes, I am wondering, and it's not about your audio. I just the whole not even when you were speaking, when the first part was rolling, I couldn't really hear you. Maybe from my end, I increased to the end, and I'm wondering why it's like that. But it's okay. Can you hear me? Okay,
Loud and clear, loud and clear. No, yeah, loud and clear.
fantastic.
I can hear you. Yes.
Before I say anything about how my week went, I'm going to. I think I would wait for you to bring our guest so
Okay.
that I would talk about that. But as you can see, this is the only way I can
Like,
describe how I feel right now. Yeah, yeah,
love
yeah, 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 yeah,
it, love it. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear. And we need to bring Allah on board just to see, just to feel this vibe, right? Let's baptize her with this positive energy. Ginger Mama versus
absolutely.
energetic EJ. Oh my God. Are you ready? PearlLight, are you ready for the energy that's about to hit you on the stage? Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of bringing up on stage our guest today, Alla Noor, also known as PearlLight. Hello, 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 gorgeous lady. Okay, okay. Entry the flow.
I'm feeling that. Hello. Hi. Well,
Awesome.
congratulations.
Yes, yes. Thank you for joining us. I see people on LinkedIn. Currently, I see Mary. Thank you, Mary Ayokomi Ore, the sales warlord herself, in the comment section. Thank you for joining us. I see. I think it's pronounced Kama France, connecting all the way from South Africa. Thank you, Kama France, for joining us today. So, guys on LinkedIn, you can just keep sending in the comments. I am monitoring it. That's why I'm looking on the side just to see who is putting in the comments, because I can't see the comments in the studio right here. So, but if you're on YouTube, I'm sure you can drop a comment on YouTube and I'll probably see it here and I can put it up on the screen. But thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Allah. Thank you for
Thank
joining us today. How
you.
are you doing?
I am absolutely great. More than great. This is so exciting for me. So feeling really good. Good. Thank you.
Awesome,
Thank
awesome,
you.
awesome. So we have a ritual here. Most of the times we just kind of talk about how our weekend went, just to say, because Gracie here, she's so big on self-care. And our weekends are normally like that time where she pampers herself, doing something for herself.
Ooh.
And so most times we just open up with that to say, okay, how did the weekend go? So I'm going to just say small thing, because I don't think what happened this weekend for me to be thinking about it. It means that I wasn't really it wasn't really
It
yeah,
wasn't
maybe it wasn't really
eventful.
fucked up. Yeah, I can't remember what happened on Saturday. I mean,
Right?
Sunday I remember I went to church, but Saturday, oh yes, Saturday was a busy one. I had back-to-back recordings of podcasts, so I was right here on this sit almost all through that day. Yeah, so I think that's why. Anyways, Gracie, let us know, and then we'll ask Allah as well. Yes.
Yes, you were very correct when you said I am big on self care. And when I say self care, what I mean is emotional, mental, physical, psychological, all in one. How do you treat all those areas? And for me, this weekend was amazing. Thank you, energetic. Every time we come on here and we do our thing, there's always, for me, was there's this seed that we're planting, and in one way or the other it will germinate. And this friendship, this sisterhood, has germinated, and it has given me the opportunity to meet amazing people. And this weekend I was inspired times. Imagine me, I'm usually very inspired. I am
Right.
self-motivated. I am someone that pick myself up when I need to do something. But with that energy that I have, I this weekend I was so happy. I met with amazing women, a brunch. So the Female Founders
Women's
Initiative
initiative.
came to Nigeria. The founder of the Female Founders Initiative, she was in Nigeria for the first time with her team, and they came to have a brunch with women that are founders in their fields, that's probably founded a business or something they are doing on their own. And we met this Saturday, and it was heaven on earth. Heaven on
Wow.
earth because it, something woke up from me. All this while I thought I was self motivated. I had everything going on, but something, and I'm going to be sharing it as we get along in this our conversation. But my weekend was amazing. My weekend was superb. My weekend was interesting, and I'm very happy because now I'm meeting Allah, and I'm sure very soon we might just meet somewhere having lunch. That's how we roll. We'll just see now, and then the next thing we're
Oh
having
no.
lunch in the Bahamas or in
Oh, I can't
Dubai
wait.
or in Paris or
Oh,
somewhere
please.
around the
Yes.
globe. So this is what we're looking to be able to achieve at the end of this. So okay, let me shut up. That was the highlight of my weekend. This Saturday was really interesting.
Absolutely fantastic. I love it. Like I can't stop smiling. And when I was seeing the pictures, I just kept smiling because this just warmed my heart. And I'm so happy that even Rushing and the team, they were happy, that at some point we're like, oh no, 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 are you sure it's not Lagos? I'm like, no, start from Abuja first. So that when you come back to Lagos, you'd be like, so I'm happy they had a good time in Abuja, Nigeria. I look forward to seeing more of the Female Founders Initiative in Nigeria. So I'm glad that you were part of it. And yes, 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 greater things ahead for us over here. So Alal, please tell us, what was your weekend like? Because I know you like to
Wow.
have fun too, girl. I know.
I do. I do. Who doesn't, right? So, actually, I just really love what you were saying, Grace. That's just, I just wanted to like add to that. It's so beautiful to be able to connect with women and hear the voices of what is going on and what is needed. And I kind of had a similar gathering, but it wasn't so many people. So I have this really, really close friend of mine. We've been best friends for 37 years. I know, ever since we were like babies, and we grew up in Canada together. And she recently moved to Saudi, so I haven't seen her for almost a year. And it was by chance that I got to meet with her on Saturday evening for suhoor, and just watching the change in her in 1 year, I was amazed. I felt even closer to her than I have ever before. And I just thought to myself, how could this be possible? Is
In
it
one
me
year.
that I grew? Or is it her that grew? Or is it both of us that grew and we met again at the same level? So
Hmm.
it was such a beautiful, beautiful setting for me. And as soon as she got there, so we sat in JBR. It's like this area. Once you come here, Grace, we're gonna take you, girl. Okay. And as soon as we sat down, like the sky was lit with fireworks. So I was like, look, babe, this is all for you. It was just absolutely beautiful. And it was really relaxing. And I loved it. So
Awesome.
that was my weekend.
Awesome. I love it. I think the growth must have happened both ways. And that's
Right.
why, yeah, there's that's connection. And it's just lovely. In most of the communities that I belong to, just that opportunity to be able to grow and not grow alone is very, very vital.
Yes.
In our personal growth journey, because again, what's the point if you're the only one growing in your circle? Like it's almost like, what are you doing? you know
Right.
while you're growing, it is important to try to get others along. Now, the rate at which we all grow might not be the same, but at least when we all know that we are on a journey to growth, we all have a picture that we're looking at, a picture that we want to manifest. It's just lovely to know, okay, we are on this journey of growth together. So thank you for sharing that beautiful story with us. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you and your friend had a great time.
Yes.
Now, bringing it back to the topic of the day, talking about finding a balance between being and doing. Okay.
Yes.
So, you
Oh
know,
boy.
I belong to a coaching community, and our lead coach will always say something around, we are human beings, not human doings. And so
Absolutely.
we have to be very, very intentional and be aware of the fact that we need to become. Becoming is very vital on our journey to growth, on our journey to personal development, even way before doing. And the thing is, with life, we find ourselves falling into the trap of just doing, 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 that
Yes.
sometimes we forget how to be. So,
Yeah.
um, while we dive into this conversation, I want you, Ala, to start up by helping. We just clarifying again. I mean, I think it's easy, but sometimes when we hear things from other people's perspective, it gives us a wider perception about that topic. So, from your own words, how would you differentiate being and doing as humans?
My pleasure.
Yeah,
So,
sorry. Before you answer that, Alan, it would be
yeah.
nice for us to get to know you. We saw what you do, but I would love for you to just tell us a bit about yourself before you answer that question.
Absolutely. So I'm E. I'm an I'm all okay. I'm an emotional intelligence mentor and a coactive life coach. So the coactive just defines as the being and the doing. And so it's the balance. I love coaching women, and I've dedicated most of my one-on-one with women only. However, mentoring and training emotional intelligence, I do as a group or more than two people. So, what I love about this topic is that the being and the doing is the feminine and the masculine energy. So, the being is the feminine and the doing is the masculine. And we have both of those balances within us. However, sometimes we tend to be on one side of the spectrum a lot of most of the time. So if we're a woman and we're working, we're always doing, 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 doing. So what's next? Doing, doing, doing. We forget to be just to be. And when we forget to do that, or we don't have time to do that, we start to lose the essence of our femininity because we're mostly in the masculine energy. And we don't allow ourselves to just relax and take a break and to really look at it from a different perspective, as in, what's the rush? It's going to be done. But on the other side, masculine energy, if a masculine man is in his feminine energy, is the same. So if he's just being without doing, he also feels like there's some sort of lack and that he should be doing something, he should be taking action, but he's not. So we have to find a way to balance both the masculine and feminine within both, like both spectrums within us, whether it's feminine, a woman, a man, what have you, balancing both energies. So the being and the doing. And how do we do that? It's sometimes with life and all, it's not easy. Sometimes we're always thinking about what we need to do next. So we forget to just be. And what's really being? So why is it important to be before to do? Is because when you be, you understand who you are, what you like, what you don't like. And then automatically you do. And when you do, it comes out smoothly. It's like it's almost like a dance that comes from within to without. And you become balanced. So that's I mean, there's so much more to that. You're welcome to ask me questions to clarify it more. Um, but it's very important to be able to understand the difference between the being and the doing and where we stand within our being in order to be doing. So yeah.
We can't hear you, EJ. We
We
cannot
can
hear
hear you.
you.
You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Okay. So
Hi.
I was like, that was great. I said I was going to ask a come back to what you do and how it relates to the topic we're talking about today. But I needed you to just, talk about, the being and the doing first, because in your bio, you are somebody who helps women, you specified that you help women to empower them to become their authentic self,
Absolutely.
so I was looking to see, how, because for me, when I hear authenticity, it's being.
Yes.
Because when you are your authentic self, you're just being who you truly are in your totality. So I wanted you to connect that dot for us to say, okay, as a coach that helps women, come into their space of authenticity, being, how do they then find the balance with that being and then doing whatever it is that they feel they've been called to do per time, right? Because, for example, for me, I mean, I still have that conversation with myself on a daily basis, right? As per what I feel I've been called, or what I think, or what I believe that I've been called to do per time, right? But there is this thread that still strings through everything that I have come out to being at a particular time, right? But the authenticity is there, which is this, bubbly person, this energetic person, right? So bring us back to that place where you connect the dots with being and that authenticity, and what you do as a coach that help people with authenticity and then emotional intelligence.
Well, authenticity is actually what takes you in both directions. And so the thing is, what is authenticity? How can we really define authenticity? I mean, it's so easy to hear it, to understand it, but is it as simple to become it? And being authentic means you're truly and completely honest with yourself, having compassion, knowing when to say yes and when to say no, knowing what places, people, things that you should release in order for you to feel better. So, oh, I don't want to go there because I don't want to. Not against anyone, but I don't want to be forced. A lot of the times we feel like we're obligated to go somewhere when we don't want to. We're obligated to look a certain way when we don't want to. So that's being unreal with ourselves. So the first step is to be completely honest with yourself, who you are, what you like, what you don't like, with compassion. And when you start doing that, your authenticity, that's the being. So authenticity is being fully and truly yourself, and without judgment towards yourself. And so when you find that authenticity within you, it starts to emanate. And then when it starts to emanate, you start to see the authenticity in others. And then you have so much compassion that you feel like there's something more that you want to do to be able to show them that path. And that's where the doing comes in. So what you're passionate about. So like what you amazing women are doing right now, you were at a point where you were being, and now you've created a podcast. That's the doing, to give to others and to yourself. So again, the balance of having compassion towards you and others. So the first thing is what you like, what you don't like. It's a challenging road to take, but it's the most freeing, um, like
Fine.
a freeing, beautiful place you can be. That's what
Mm.
freedom is. So
Mm.
being authentic leads you to the road of freedom and compassion.
Absolutely. Gracie, please take it away.
Thank you so much. And yes, uh, I I was reading a book recently, and it was about balance, nature, and how it is very important to strike that balance. That nature would always come for you in one way or the other when you don't, when there is abundance in one aspect and there is less in the other place, that you would make up for it. And it was explained in the form of sleep, Like if you don't sleep all night and then you think you'd be useful during the day, hey, nature will be like, okay, let's see you be useful. Let's see you be useful. And I think this conversation is very important. We're having this conversation because sometimes, including myself, we run off and we don't catch ourselves to understand that, look, come here, come here, come here. You need to focus on this area. You focus too much on this area. You need to focus on this area. So the question I want to ask you now is, I'm very practical. Please forgive me. I have a science background, so I always like things to be pragmatic so we can touch it, like feel it and have a mental picture of it. So the question I want to ask you now is, what is that thing that would help you catch yourself when you are, getting off balance in terms of the feminine and the masculine energy? At what point do you know you're giving too much to the masculine? Or at what point would you know that you're giving too much to the feminine, part of the, what's the word now? You know what I mean? At what point would you discover that this is taking more and you're not giving more to this part? How do you practically catch yourself? And what are the measures? What do you have to do to bring yourself back to center?
I love that question because it really is deep, and that's where the challenge is technically. So when you ask this question, it's also a very broad question. So what are we reflecting on that we feel that we're too much in our masculine or feminine energy? So if I think as a woman, there really, to me, in my perspective, there's no too much of feminine energy because we are actually women and we are feminine. That's our power by nature. What we do more of and is the masculine energy. So then that's what brings in the imbalance where we long for something that we're not really clear about. And we feel it in our body. We feel the exhaustion. Like, for example, if you don't get sleep, what happens? Nature takes its course. So our bodies are always speaking to us. So if we're always on a run or in fear, or our minds are filled with thoughts that are either non-existing or they're just keeping us in a trap because we don't have an answer, we feel it in our body. So it's okay to tell ourselves, hey, listen, I don't feel good today. I really don't. I'm tired. I had a long day of running here, or I made a mistake. It's okay to feel this way. That's where the balance really is. The magic happens when you allow yourself to feel your feelings completely. We can't always be in a state where we're always, feeling so happy, right? But we can allow ourselves to feel, let's say, a bit of the darkness that takes over. Because what happens is that's where the spark begins for a new idea or a new way of being. So being in that state allows you to actually come up with something new for yourself and know, am I okay with this? Right now, I'm not okay with it, but you know what? I'll deal with it when I get some rest, or I'll deal with it when I know the answer. I don't have the answer now. The answer will come. So it's always going back to the state of is asking yourself, are my thoughts real, for example? Or whatever happened, did happen, is holding on to it gonna, serve me? And do I feel down because I made a mistake? Or do I feel down because I feel like I'm in lack? So it's really just allowing yourself to be in the feeling, in the emotion that you're in at that time, And that's where you find balance. And that's where you're able to take action from the being.
Yeah, I like what you said around when you're in the feminine. For me, it's an aha moment that I would want to check, because I also understand that in these conversations we're learning, I have a belief that, I think even if we are in our feminine state, there are times that we might overshoot it. I'm just thinking, I might be wrong. You say you can never, but I might be wrong. I'll delve deep into that. And I would want to say that in the place of, in a practical space now, in the feminine energy, there's something called, I mean, we can be very intuitive. We're supposed to be intuitive. You're supposed to also be the one to receive, allow the flow, and all of that. So in my head, I'm thinking that at some point, you know when a woman is always in that state, in that state of feminine energy, and is not always wanting to receive, and not bringing out that part of them to do, just because in receiving she's in a feminine state and she would always want to be in that. I'm using this practical part as a part of the feminine energy of receiving, not being stressed, always be in that point of baby girl for life. Because I'm saying this because people, there's a misconception in the world today, because and like I said, I might be wrong, when you said around not there's never a time where it'll be excess when you're in your state, so I think I'd have to check that. So in the world today, most women will be like, I'm in my feminine, I don't need to do anything, I just need to flow things. Yeah, there's that part, and it's actually something that works whenever you're in that state and you want things to flow. It does happen, but there's a part where you have to do in some form, because it's in the doing that you get to, I don't know if it's my own concept of doing, but I need you to touch on that,
It's
so
very
that we
important.
don't have that misconception where
Yeah,
people just overflog a particular state because they see that that's their own core. I'm in my feminine I can never overdo it. Secondly, I would say that we're very yeah, I was going to talk about being intuitive, right? Where's the thick line? I think there's a line between being intuitive and being um sensitive, or as you assume. All these things are things that we find out every time, and we need to know the difference. So I want you to touch on those two things. When you're in your feminine state, at what point do you know that, okay, this is maybe not too much, but I am now neglecting the fact that I still have the masculine part. I need to do something, I need to put
and
in the
yeah,
work and all of
absolutely.
that.
I love what you're saying. It's very important. It really is. And that's where the balance is with the being and doing, because we don't say a feminine is just the being. We say the being and the doing, right? But the doing for you as a feminine comes from a place of wanting to do what you want to do. So you love to do this. So, for example, um, becoming a chef, loving, you love to cook. So what do? You allow yourself to be in the state of, you know what, I am good at cooking. I do have a sense of, the smells and the taste. I want to go and become a chef. So it's a place that comes from heart. So you go and you do it. So it's like following your dream. However, if you're just sitting there and saying, "Hey, I just want to receive," who are you receiving from? Right? Who are you receiving from? One must learn to receive for one. And how do you receive for yourself? You receive by allowing your intuitive state to talk, to speak to you, to make way for who am I really? What do I love to do? That's why, for example, back in the day, the women used to do embroidery. The women used to be the ones
Yeah.
who would actually design the clothes, because
Yeah.
we are creative beings, whether it's a male or a female. We were created to be creative and
Yeah.
to give to self and others. So if I become a chef, that means not only am I feeding me, I'm feeding others from a place of love, from a place of want. So that puts me in a state of being on a deeper level even more, because I become very, I practice gratitude, and then I start to practice giving out more. That's doing. But the balance comes from the being and from a place of an open heart, rather than, what I need to do next, how I need to do it, how I need to make it happen. When you're here, that's where all the, the rumble happens. Now, on the side of receiving, yes, as we were born and biologically, a woman is to receive and a man is the giver. Now, if you're in a committed, if you're in a relationship, if if
Men are
whatever
fighting that these days. Men
I
are
know, right?
fighting that these days.
Well, I don't blame them. To be honest with you, it's again the balance, both the men and the women. Huh? But yeah, I know what you mean. That's exactly because you said in the beginning, the feminine say, I just want to receive. So we have this type of, right, and this type. But the type that works, and we all have it. We're all creative beings. We all have magic within us. But we need to be, in order to receive from the intuitive state who we are, and then understand what we love to do and put all our energy into that. And then when we're doing, so imagine doing something that you love and you blow up because of it. It shows, it emanates. The light of what you love doing emanates. So doing what you love comes from a place of heart and from a place of being and gratitude and appreciation. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I love it. I love the example you gave of the chef. I love it. It just it makes so much sense that you're still in the flow, that you're doing what you really love, and then everything is just you're creating, and then you're in that space of your feminine and your masculine, and there's a huge balance in that. So yeah, I
Yes,
love that answer. Thank
thank
you
you.
so much
I
for
have another
sharing.
example if you'd like. I can come up with another
Please,
just to just
you're the
to add
guest.
more
Take it
flavor.
away. Take it away.
Well, I'll give us as an example, right? So we probably work in my perspective. I worked many different jobs, many different careers, right? And I was always in the masculine state, but not understanding my feminine state. So I wasn't listening to what I wanted and loved to do. I felt
Mm,
like I had to do this. I had to go to work. I had to give more. I had to be something that I was not, in order to get something done, get the bills paid, get this. So I forgot my feminine state. But when I
mm,
had the chance to really lock in to hermit mode and go within, I faced myself. I faced where I want, what I don't want, what I'm going to accept, what I will no longer accept. And when I started to understand that, I started to show up as I am instead of as who everyone else expected of me to be.
yeah, to be.
And that was me in my masculine state, completely lost in my feminine state. When I started to I love writing. I love reading. I love spending time at home. I love quality time like with women like you. I love, doing my retreats and going to retreats, just love for life. This gave me the essence of wanting to write a book, to keep pushing with my dreams. So that's the doing state for me. And it comes from a place of heart rather than a place of the shackles where I used to be in my mind.
Mm. You know, as you as you talk about that, what comes to my mind is, the angle that, I also thought about it when we're preparing for the session is, there is, for every level, for every place that you have to be in life, um even for those who believe in destiny, for whatever it is you're destined for, there is a person you need to be to get into that space. you know so let's take wealth, for example. A lot of people, want to have wealth, want to amass wealth, want to be wealthy, want to be known as wealthy, right? But there is a person you need to become to be wealthy. So the wealth is not in the things that you do and the things that you amass. No, it starts from the person that you are, who you are, the understanding of who you are. And it's
Yes.
from that understanding, when you come from that place of understanding who you are, the potential that you carry, the giftings that you carry, the different particles, let me, for lack of words, that makes you, the different design of cells that makes you who you are. When you're able to dig deep and understand that and live from that place of being, it's it kind of directs how the doing comes to be. So now
And
you're no longer struggling or doing it because this is how
exactly.
everyone is doing it. No, you are now doing it because this is who you are, from a
Yes.
place of understanding who you are. Like you would see, there are ladies. I would give an example of ladies, right? I mean, people who understand their femininity. I am a work in progress, right? Like I've
We
always
need to,
thought. I've
Ala,
always,
Ala,
I've always
we need
thought
to, we need to, I want to put Ejiro on the spot. We need to do this. We have to do
Indeed.
this. We
We
have to
are.
come together
Yes.
and do this
We're
for
doing
our
we're,
girl.
yes.
We have to do this for our girl, because
I know.
every time she says it, she's like, yeah, I don't know about the feminine energy thingy. I'm more my masculine, So this is me saying it right here, right now, because I was there. I understand her. I used to be very in that state. Why am I sitting down here? What's happening here? I need to. Oh yeah. I was, but
Do
I'm
let's
out
do
of that
let's do.
space right now. So we have to work together. I'm putting Adrian on the spot, and I don't want us to miss this part. Before, sorry that
I
I
love
had to
it.
cut you in, because I want this to be on record. So when
Right.
next, I want you to talk about it more. How
Right.
you have the work you have done so far to become,
to
you
become,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah. All
I
right.
get exactly. But again, the thing is, right now I'm now aware. So that's a good place to start. Like, okay, I'm aware that I
What's
can really
next?
activate, the feminine part of me. But for me, it's like, please, I don't have time. Let's do the work. Like, what's there to be done?
Yeah,
Let's
I
do
saw that. I saw that. Let's get the shows. Let's
let's
get the
just do
shows
it.
on. I'm like, what
Please,
show?
please. Do you understand? But that's what
Yes.
I'm saying. But then I've seen women who have embraced their femininity. Oh my gosh. It
Yeah.
is
All right.
gorgeous. It is
Yes.
lovely to behold. It
Yes.
is, it's like, it's the way,
Divine.
the ease that
Yes.
comes with, it's like you just see them and you just feel like, no, this person is majestic, this
Yes.
person is royalty, because they've tapped into the power of who they are in that feminine energy. Do you see what I mean? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
a work in progress in that regards, but of course, I know who I am in that masculine energy. Like, bring it on. Let's do it. Let's get.
Let's
You
get
know,
the
you know the
show
funny
on.
thing. You know the funny thing. The interesting thing about the masculine energy, which is beautiful, by the way, is what we
Right.
use in learning certain things. Like, you see some women, they will never learn how to drive, but you need that aggression to be able to
Yes.
move. You need the aggression.
You
So
need the
it's not
drive
entirely
to
bad. I think
drive.
it's fantastic. And
Yeah.
what you were talking about, being, becoming, doing. I think we've had that conversation before.
Yes,
Who you
we do have.
become on your journey to a path where you're headed, and what you. So I have a question, because I want us to bring it back. We've been talking about that. I want to bring it back to Alla. Or that if Adriel is done with asking the question she wants to ask you, I'm going to ask after the question Adriel was going to ask you. Or
Okay.
you
So,
want me to
EJ,
continue?
So basically, I
I
wanted
think
to just come from. I just wanted to uh, kind of bring a like, would I say, like a different angle to the conversation when I said, it's in the becoming, it's in the being. There's a person that you need to be to do what you need to do. Like, so when you accept, it's more like when you tell your mind that this is who I am, it kind of affects what you do. So if
yeah.
you say I am wealthy, then if you tell your mind and you train your mind to believe that that is who you are, then it affects how you behave, because it affects what you do. Like, are you doing what wealthy people do? Right. So if
Yeah.
you say, like, I'm intelligent, are you doing what intelligent people do? So it's like sometimes we have to tell ourselves who we have to come to that place of who we are, be who we are, so that it affects what we do, and then we can have whatever it is that we're looking at having. So I just wanted to bring it from that angle. But yeah, Grace, you can go ahead and ask your question.
I
I'd
love it,
like
and
to
I
actually
think.
add to that.
Yes. Okay.
To
Go ahead,
Dave,
Alla.
first of all, I love how you emphasize on the feminine and then the masculine. Like, it, I loved it, and I felt like there was in between there was some sort of trap, right? And that's where the challenging part is. It's like, okay, I'm passionate about this, yet I'm exhausted with needing to reach a certain goal, right? So that's where the being and the doing starts to intertwine and gets mixed, and you get uncomfortable thinking like, I'm doing all of this but I'm still not receiving the wealth, or I'm still not reaching my goals, and I have all of these blocks. This happened and that happened, and why haven't I reached there, right? So when we set off to a certain destination, we're always thinking of the destination instead of
Hmm.
the journey to the
That takes
destination.
you there.
So
Right.
it's kind of like saying you're first born. Okay, so when am I gonna die? You forget completely about living, right? The
Right.
process that you go through that goes to that, and it's not the end result that matters. The end result we don't know about, right? What we know is that how do we find what is wealth to us? We need to always return back to asking ourselves, what is it that we need more of? Am I lacking finances, or am I wanting more? So
Hmm.
when we always come from a place of feeling like we are in lack, we start to confuse the being and the doing. We start asking ourselves,
Hmm.
am I really passionate about this? Is this really going to get me somewhere? Right? Those are the negative thoughts that sometimes take over
Right.
because of life's experiences. And that's where the magic happens. This is where you need to come back to earlier what Grace you were asking. This is where you need to come back to you and say, is there anything I can change about this? I need to make this huge payment now. I'm following my passion. I know where I want to go, but it's not happening. What more do I need to do to reach there faster? That sets you back even more. Because
Hmm.
at this point, are you following what you're passionate about? Or are you now following, you know, external factors because you feel the lack of it? So
Hmm.
then it takes more time. If you haven't noticed,
Right.
it ends up taking more time, right? That's where you need to really come back to center and ask yourself, look, I'm doing what I can. This is how it is now. If I do more of it, how much more of my essence am I gonna lose?
Losing.
Because
Hmm.
that's where we kill the passion. Oh, this is not working. You know what? Forget about it. Let me just get a 9 to 5 job. Let me just go back to doing what everybody else is doing. That's where the challenge is. That's probably the most challenging. And the best way to actually overcome it is by facing it. You know what? I need help right now. I'll ask for help. It's going to show me the right people. You're still being authentic with yourself. You need the help. But you
Right.
still have the dream that you're following. The patience and the gratitude. Oh my God. Patience and gratitude pays off in the long
In the
run.
long run, absolutely.
Don't lose
Absolutely.
on your dream. It will happen. You know, it will happen because you are unique. There is no one like you.
Absolutely. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Gracie.
Yeah, and
Listen.
I think we already have our topic for next week. I was just hearing you speak.
What
I
is it?
just,
What is it? Please share.
we talked a lot about purpose. People talk a lot about purpose. We talk about finding your purpose, creating your purpose, doing this,
Mm,
doing that, and I think we're wrapping up now. We're almost wrapping up. So I was hearing you say that while you're doing, and the last thing you said, very important, because we've been there. There are times that you'd be doing something like, is this a sign that I should let it go? Is this a sign? No, ma'am.
right.
That's you being lazy and running away from
And the
the hard part.
responsibility.
And then,
Oh,
so I think it's very important that, and for me, I also I've learned that when you're not able to get past the hard part, then you're not becoming who you really want to become. Because it's very easy. I had a client
exactly.
recently, and we were just talking, and I said that everybody knows exactly what to do. The doing is
Yeah,
easy, man. It's a template. Everybody sees it. Multiple
absolutely.
streams of income. Do this, real estate. Do that. Do this, and you'll be wealthy. You want to be
Conditioned.
healthy? You
Yeah.
go for a run in the morning. Do this exercise. Do that. Eat this. Eat that. Everybody knows it's a template. It's global knowledge.
Yes.
For certain things that now do it.
Yes.
Do come on, become that person that
Yes.
can achieve those things. That's where the work is.
Mm,
I think I'm going to wrap up with this, and I would ask you to share your thoughts on that. In becoming the best version of yourself, I'm repeating that. What are the key things? There's usually this statement that be your unique self, be your unique being, be this, be that. But there are universal principles that would always guide us. They are universal. Whether you go to the north, the east, the west, or the south, there are universal principles that you would have to work with to achieve certain goals. So, in wrapping up from my end, the question I would ask you is, in becoming the best version of yourself, what three things can people learn to do or take note of to be a better version of themselves? Three key things.
It's very important. Very important. I love it. And one of them is stop judging yourself and stop judging yourself. Quickly wrapping up is a form of, if I dress like this or if I done this, will people look at me in this way? If I went to this place, how will others think of me? That's judging yourself before anyone else judges you. So when you judge yourself, you play small. You shut that light. Instead of wearing that funky hat you wanted to wear, you thought, hey, if I wear this hat, they might think like, what is she coming to a Halloween party? But it's not even real. Maybe they'll love the hat, right? So stop judging yourself and truly, truly take in a moment and say, I like to funky it up like this with a funky look and funky colors and shoes. I'm going to do it. And even if they did judge, people will judge no matter what. So whether I'm wearing this or that, there's just still gonna be tit or tat. There's still gonna be chit and chat. So I'm gonna take on my full self and stop judging myself by caring about how others will perceive me.
Hmm.
That's very important. And then that goes on to knowing truly when to say yes and when to say no. And what I mean by that is sometimes we say yes to things and places just because we feel like we need to, instead of
Hmm.
actually saying no to really come into our place of relaxing. And the opposite, really wanting to say yes, but then saying no because what if others judge me? What if my family this? What if work thinks that? What if my partner this? What if my kids this? So it's again, it leads, so judgment, then knowing when to say yes
Yes.
and no. And third, release all people, places, and things and let them go. Because if they do not serve you in a way where they make you feel good, then they will not serve your highest good, which will again kill the passionate you.
Hmm. Love
So
it.
those are
Love it.
very three very important key factors.
Love it. It reminds me of a video I just watched this afternoon. Pastor Olumide Emmanuel was having an interview, and he was just saying, I think the interviewer was asking him like, okay, um uh, I can't remember the exact word he uses, but it's more like, what would people say or something like, you can't discard a certain set of people. It's like, what do you mean you can't discard people? Like,
Yeah.
you discard anybody discardable, like, even if it's your family, because at the end of the day, you will do everything you think would please them, and they will still eventually, turn their
And they're
backs on you.
hurting you.
So,
So why not?
yeah.
Yes,
So again,
yes,
why, like, do your thing first, save yourself, and then
yeah.
later on they would understand when they see the result of what you're doing. But at every point where you are making your decision based on, oh, what will people say, or what would this person think, and you are killing
You'll
yourself
lose
and you
yourself.
are
Yes,
remaining at the same level as them. But
exactly.
when you know there is something that can serve you higher, that can make you higher, go ahead and do it. Yes, at the beginning it
Exactly.
might look like you're at loggerhead with people, but when they see the results, then you would then be able to explain it to them, like, this is what I was trying to let you see.
Yeah.
Because you were saying
And
earlier on, like, they were saying, oh, this is something that would not sell or whatever. And it's like, okay, watch me. You watch me do
yes,
it. When you
yes.
see the results, you will understand
And
why I'm going
exactly.
that way.
And I
Yeah.
promise you, you won't even need to explain to them because you know it'll be a waste of time. If you don't see my magic, when you know you're magical and what you've done is magical, if you still need to explain yourself, then maybe you need to explain to yourself if this person is right for you in your life.
Right, right,
So,
right.
because
Thank you
it,
so very
yeah,
much.
thank you.
Amazing conversation we've had about, just being and doing and understanding the difference between those two, and knowing that there is the feminine and the masculine that comes with it. But at the end of the day, still coming back to just you digging deep within you and knowing where you are at. So when it is serving, if it's not serving you, whether it's the feminine or the masculine energy, if it's not serving you or serving your higher good, then it's time for you to call yourself back to order and say, okay, what's missing here? Why is there imbalance here? And try to, come back to that place of center. And I think some
Wow.
of the practical things that we
Beautifully
can do
said.
again, you know, yeah, I think one of the things practically we can do again is, just the meditation, coming back to center, to, just come back to center. And I love what you said about gratitude. I think that's another big one. That's one way that we just lose it, because when we're not grateful for the little that we're even doing, we just feel like we need to do more, and then it is in the wanting to do bigger, wanting to do more, that we lose the essence of just being and
Yes.
enjoying the little that we're doing in our state of being. And I think, that is really interesting that you brought that up. Thank you so very much for being here
Thank
today,
you.
Alla. I
Oh,
know we could
wow.
just keep on talking and talking, but
I
it's
know.
been an
I
amazing
love
conversation so far. Guys, thank you for joining us. For those joining us on LinkedIn, for those who joined us on YouTube, we see you. We see you. Thank you so very much. Until we come your way again next week. Grace, what was that topic you talked about again for next week? I need to write it down so we can start planning.
Okay. It's on purpose. I just would look for a word around it, but on purpose. So we'll look
Okay.
for how to make it a bit more fancy, but it's going to be on purpose.
Purpose. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Any last word from
I'll,
you?
I'll tell you in the private chat. I'll
Okay.
give you an
Okay.
idea.
All right. All right.
This is something,
No problem.
Thanks for coming.
seriously.
No
Thank
All right.
problem.
you.
Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
guys.
week, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you so
We'll see you
much.
next week. Yeah, bye.